Hey folks, I'm back. Got another project here in the garage. We're looking at an '08 Dodge Ram 2500. We are putting in the Kenwood DMX 4710S and a Kenwood backup camera. We're going to put it in this holder here. I went back, the handle for the tailgate doesn't, it won't work to use this piece here. It doesn't, I was hoping to go below the handle, but there's not enough room. And if I put it off to the side one way or the other, it won't look right. Back up. We also got the adapter harness that'll plug right into the Kenwood, which is nice, and it'll plug right into this Maestro harness here. I've already gone and programmed the Maestro. This will take care of the steering wheel controls, interface in the car. It gives a bunch of different features for OBD2. It reports back to the radio on that. You need a compatible radio for it, so don't just go out and buy that and expect it to work. It needs to be Idatalink Maestro compatible. So you'll pay a little bit more, but boy, the features you get out of that and the ease of installation. The customer did it right this time. I don't have to splice any harnesses or nothing. The only thing I had to tap into is the park switch, and it gives me the reverse signal already, and it gives me the steering wheel control, which I'll just plug right in. So this is a great option. If you're DIY and you don't want to splice anything, buy this harness. Whatever, they make one for pretty much every radio that's out there. Except the cheapo ones. This harness is required, of course. We've got the fit kit and the antenna adapter. So this truck has a nice radio already. It's got the upgraded sound system. The only issue is the screen is all messed up on this. So we're going to take this out, pop in the new radio, run the backup camera up here. Should be pretty simple, straightforward. You guys have seen me do these a dozen times, I'm sure. Yeah, that's pretty much the project today. I'll break in like I normally do and show you as it goes. There's not going to be much to show you here on the workbench because it's just plug and play. It's all plug and play stuff. So today though, I'm rocking my new garage pants. They're from Duluth Trading Company. Being from Minnesota, I've had I've got a couple of these Duluth Trading Company pants. They're fire hose pants, so they're made out of the same material as fire hose. Very durable, waterproof, or water resistant. Anyways, I mean, if I melt in a bunch of water, eventually it'll soak it up. But the other pairs I have are insulated, and it's right now today it's gorgeous outside. It's got to be in the upper 40s, which it's January 3rd in Washington. The sun is out and it's 40-ish, upper 40 degrees right now. So it's beautiful outside for this time of year. It's cold if it weren't January, but it's too warm for me to wear my insulated ones. So my wife got these for me for Christmas. I love them. So comfortable, so flexible. I'm not sponsored by them, but if you have your chance to get yourself some Duluth Trading Company product, the pants are awesome. They're worth every penny you're going to spend on them. They're not cheap, but they're worth every penny. So just a little plug for Duluth Trading Company. But I'll be back to show you. I'll show you with the dash disassembled and everything. So there's a few things we got to check on this. Make sure it's got the factory amplifier, which I'm pretty sure it does. But the instructions say to check it out, so we'll follow the instructions and we'll get everything wired up here and show you how it goes. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's been a good hour or so. My original plan for this, drawing a blank here. The plug-in, the connector here. This unit here isn't for this Kenwood, so it's not as plug and play as I thought it was going to be. So I had to cut off the plug and hardwire it. No big deal. I'm just letting my heat shrink cool. So got my harness wired up. I gotta cut some tape and reconfigure this. but it's wired up. I gave myself a, back up here a little bit. Gave myself a little plug-in for the camera. This is the first time using one of these Kenwood cameras. Most of these backup cameras, you know, they run the power wire for the camera right out this little, you know, they combine it into the RCA. And then they, the ground is back at the other end. Not the case here. So they give you a ground wire and a fuse holder and all that right here. So I put a little plug on the end there, and that'll plug in behind the radio. So this end goes behind the radio. I've got it all in Tech Flex all the way there. We're going to actually go, I got to, next I got to figure out, so I got the radio completely pulled. You have to check this plug to determine whether or not you have the amp or not. It's redundant. This car does have an amplifier, so they just want you to check that. A lot of room here. I'm going to pop this trim out next and get the carpet up, and I think there's a grommet under here. I'm going to pass the camera down. We're going to run the camera back this way. Normally I start from the back and work forward. I'm going to go the opposite direction now because of that big ass fuse holder there. I don't want to drill a big hole to pass that through from the into the truck, and I don't want to cut it out, so we're going to go the other way. Yeah, so I've got the dash out. I replaced their power plug with one of these little USB adapters. This will plug into the USB cable from the Kenwood. This is an open spot, but trying to cut a square hole and make it look good, nah. I could put it right in the middle and leave his socket, but he's got another one right here, so if he needs to plug in something, he can plug in a socket there. So that'll be his plug-in. I think this is a wireless CarPlay, so it probably won't need to, but in case he does, he can utilize that. Just looks like a cleaner install that way. So yeah, my next thing, I'm gonna go install the camera on the license plate. I gotta mount it and everything. It's inside the this way, inside the box there. And once I get that mounted, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna fish the camera cable back, and I'll come and update you when I've got that more done. I'll show you my radio harness all taped up before I put it in the truck and everything too. I gotta install a GPS antenna, which is gonna go in the dash underneath the windshield. We don't route those to the outside of the vehicles anymore. They just need no metal above them. So if you're putting it in, which is perfectly fine, you can attach to the top of the radio as long as there's no metal brackets or the roof of the truck. This one, the windshield tilts back enough, I could put it underneath, or I could just mount it right on top of the radio. I'm not going to. I'm going to put it a little bit further forward inside the dash, but still under the dash. So that way it's hidden. We just put them on the roof. Don't have to do that anymore. And then I can run the microphone wire too. That's about all I have to do in the truck. And yeah, moving forward. It's all this tedious, piddly stuff, getting the wiring figured out and everything. So I'll be back. All right, I'm back. It's been about 20-ish minutes, 20, 30 minutes maybe. Let me give you an update here. So I've got my camera wire ran. This is the grommet for the park brake wire. I just drilled a hole through it. It's rubber. It sits up high. It was like that when I pulled this open, but I'm gonna try and pop it back into place. Got all my excess ran. Show you guys here, but we'll back up. Go underneath the truck here. So I've got it ran along. He's got an air compressor here, it looks like, for helper bags in the back, which is cool. Whoever did the electrical work on this truck, though, for adding this on, doesn't believe in loom and barely believes in zip ties. I don't know. That's a nice sharp point. It's rubbing, well, it's rubbing there. It's not sharp, I guess, but it is rubbing. You should even put your airline in loom, airlines in loom too. Now I have one zip tie right there on the cable. I know that moves, but I need to support it, so it's not tight. It won't. The cable can still move within the zip tie. I just needed it to not dangle too much. I'm gonna let it dangle there a little bit, and I've got it hard secured there. So it goes up and over that bracket, and then there, and then I follow the factory harness all the way back above the axle and tied up by the rear brake spare tire. So it's all secure. Watch my fat ass struggle to get up. Okay, so now I'm going to finish routing that into the cable behind the dash, and then mount my radio. And I still haven't done the mic and the GPS antenna, but that's next. I'll do that, then I'll mount the radio and test everything out. So I'll come back when it's all done, or well, when I've got it in, and we'll test it. All right, got the truck done. Let me turn you around here, and let me get the key in first. Show what you got going on. All right, so I got the USB right there. We're just waiting for it to load up. Kenwoods are always slow. I do not know why it takes so long. Hopefully we don't get... Okay, yeah, agree. Alright, there's the radio. I've already done all the tuning. I set the clock up and all that. As you can see, it's 3:35. This took about 2 hours, two-ish hours, I guess. A nice fit around the dash. I like it. Centered. Camera, put her backer up here. It actually mutes or lowers the volume like a factory setup would. This gives him a nice view of his bumper. It doesn't quite pick up the corners, but at least he'll see how close his bumper is. Obviously it's a fisheye lens, so it's going to be curved. Nice shot of his hitch. It's wired up so that he can kick it on, I believe, at any time. I think Ken would allow you to do that if you go to the home setting. It's gonna be one of the settings he'll want on here. Maybe it won't let him. Well, yeah, the vehicle info. Maybe that's got to be. I've got the park brake. Let's see if it'll let it do it now. Maybe the vehicle doesn't pick up anything on this one. Yeah, well, I guess I can't. I'll play with it a little bit and see where I can find the camera, but it is wired, so if he does want to see the camera while driving, he should be able to. This thing's got a lot of stuff that it doesn't do for some reason, probably just because of the truck it's in, or vehicle it's in. So, set up the camera. That's about all you get. Interesting. So, well, that's the Kenwood. All done. It was a fun install. I like these. This one, I wish the what you call it, the harness he bought, the plug and play one, would have worked for this radio, but it doesn't. Oh, let me show you where the mic is. So got the mic up there, ran the wire down the A-pillar and everything. The GPS is right. It's on top of the vent, right up there, it's sticking down. Nothing between the top or the GPS and the satellites other than the glass, so it's actually picking up inside my, so it's already picking up because it auto adjusts the clock, so that was kind of neat. All right, that's the end of this install. 08 Dodge Ram 2500 Kenwood camera, Kenwood head unit, and that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Okay, quick little side note to that 08 Dodge Ram. Customers haven't picked it up yet, but they're on their way, so the garage is empty. I looked into it. The module they bought to interface with the truck, the SR module, needs to be an RR or an RR2 to be able to pick up the OBD2 and the gauges. So all that stuff I was trying to get to work just a few minutes ago, that isn't going to work with the interface module he's got. So I was on Crutchfeld, I was looking it up, I'm like, why would this not work? And turns out they just didn't buy the right one. So, and there's a big price jump. If you wanted everything to show up on that radio, it's at least another $80. Yeah, at least maybe $100 more, I think, for the RR2. But if you just wanted to go to the RR, it was a good jump in price. So I'd say newer vehicles, like if your radio shows a lot of data already, like if it's interfaces with the systems in the car, like your, HVAC and stuff like that. If your screen does a bunch of stuff, or you're replacing like his screen was shot. It was not, his factory radio was, even though it had a touch screen or a screen, it didn't show. It was like all garbled. You couldn't see anything. It was all like TV static almost. Um, but yeah, so if your radio does a lot of functions, invest in the RR2 or the RR. But you got to make sure you get that, because, and then there's also a special harness that goes with it. His truck does not provide OBD2 data to the radio, and you would have needed there was a OBD2 harness, so it'd actually go down to the OBD2 port plug in. Would have been a little tough. He already had like a programmer plugged in there, so I would have had to hardwire it in. But I'm gonna let him know if he ever wants to, invest in the better module. He can. I'll swap it out, pretty cheap. It's not going to take very long. Program it and throw it in there. So it's and then run a hook up to the OBD2. So half hour worth of work. But yeah, just wanted to come back and tell you, if you're watching that video going, wait a second, I have the same truck and I tried. No, it's not. You got to buy the RR or RR2. So take a look at the Maestro or iData Link page. It'll tell you what you need to buy. So will Crutchfeld. So thanks again. Have a good one.